All right, so we're back, but check this out, folks. I had to readjust my settings. You know, Dr. McCarty got me together in terms of my posture, but I realized that my workstation was way out of compliance. So now, if you can tell the difference, I have my monitor raised. I'm probably about a good arm's length away from my monitor. You can see my little crusty finger over there in the corner. And so now you can kind of see in real time what it looks like when you're probably working on your couch and you have the monitor looking up at you versus being eye level. And so now I'm going to do a quick adjustment of my posture so I can get back to where I was. How am I looking, Doc? I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, you know, you can't give me the full thing, but
yeah, but you in there.
Okay, good. I'm in there. All right. So let's get back to it. So I think one of the other things we were talking through kind of from a workstation standpoint, when you're working from home, just some things to kind of consider to make sure that you are in good position, you know, in good posture, that sort of deal. What I'd also like to kind of help people understand or maybe even shed some light on is what are some, you know, low budget ways to change your workstation. So it's like, hey, I don't really want to go and buy, I don't have a table that's not cluttered with all kinds of other stuff already, but I really don't have the money or space to buy a desk. What are some of the other just, you know, low budget ways that somebody can jump in and really revamp their workstation to be in a better ergonomic position?
Yeah, so we like low budget. Low budget and free are wonderful.
It's my favorite F word.
Listen, come through. So one of the first suggestions that I've been giving it to my patients for years, and now that I've transitioned to kind of having clients as those patients, give it to them. But alternate your desk chair or your office chair for a physio ball, or AKA yoga ball,
Okay.
AKA birthing ball. It's the big blow up ball that you sit on. That
Yeah,
one.
right.
And so a nice hack that I would tell them is, alternate. So spend maybe, I don't know, an hour or two in the office chair and then switch to the ball and then switch back to the office chair and switch back to the ball. And the benefit of using the ball is, number one, it's going to automatically help you engage your core, because if your core isn't engaged, you're going to roll off and hit the floor.
Okay.
No one hit the floor. So engaging your core is huge because that also protects your low back. Oh, yeah. So you can do that. And the balls are inexpensive. You can get one for like 10 or 12 bucks from Amazon, Walmart, Target, everywhere. They're not bad. If you have an issue with screen height, then you can put like all those old books and magazines and stuff, put those to use, stack them, place your monitor or your laptop on top of there. Those Amazon boxes that are piling up, because I'm sure we all have them piling up.
Yes.
So grab one that's the proper shape, because you get many shapes and sizes. Throw some canned goods in it to weight it down, put it on the desk, and proper monitor on top of it. So you can really,
so hold on. You said something there. What do the canned goods do? You mentioned weight it down.
Just make it weighted. Make it weighted. It's depending on the weight of your monitor. It might kind of sink.
Over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or it might kind of, how if you place something too heavy on the center of a box and it kind of starts to sink.
Yeah, it starts to sink in. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can kind of weight it down with canned goods. I mean, you can use anything to weight it down, but most of us have some random canned goods in the pantry.
Right, that good old can of navy beans that you're never gonna eat.
Exactly. Go ahead and use them.
Go ahead and use it, right.
So you can definitely use that. If you want to be a little more fancy, schmancy, then you can do a laptop stand, which is, I'm pretty sure you've seen them. They're kind of, they go up at a diagonal, almost like a robot, like robot legs.
Yeah.
But they aren't really that badly priced. I mean, you can get one for 50 bucks or less on Amazon. So, so that's a nice thing if you just want something that's not a box or books.
Sure.
And then you can also get a Bluetooth keyboard. So a lot of times people don't think that, hey, I have a laptop, I don't need a Bluetooth keyboard. Look at you, Bobby James, come on. But you can get a Bluetooth keyboard, and that way your laptop is there, but you aren't trying to reach your arms and at this weird angle, changing that L shape that you're supposed to have. And then you can use the keyboard as such. So those are some things. Of course, if you don't have a desk, use your dining room table. When it comes to chair support, you can take a decorative throw pillow from the couch or from the bed or whatever and put it right at the base of the low back where your back and your bum kind of meet. And you place that pillow there for some low back support. Or you can take an old pillow. You know, old pillows, when they get old, they kind of get flat. And you just roll it and put it there. And then if you're...
That's important. You mentioned the placement of that pillow. What bone or what part of the spinal system is that supporting? Is that lumbar or is that something?
Lumbar.
It is lumbar. Okay. Gotcha.
Lumbar. Yep. And then of course, some dining room tables are only meant for dining in terms of comfort. So you can also grab an extra pillow and slap it on the bottom. So you can,
Okay.
Yeah. So those are some things that you can do. Just, you know, your home, you have most of those things at the house already, and you can make it so that you're not on your couch doing work.
Yes. I'm convicted.
Me too.
No more couch. Okay. No more couch.
Me too. It's okay.
Now, on a slightly, I'll say, heavier note, right? I think we can all agree that, you know, in addition to what's going on with COVID-19, quarantine, and so on and so forth, 2020 has just been a very stressful year. When we think about the rise of systemic racism and oppression that we're currently trying to navigate through, on top of the like ongoing just trauma that is funneled through that, just generally speaking, I think many of us are really operating in an environment of stress. And it may not necessarily be the type of stress that we would typically identify, but it's stress nonetheless, you know? And so one of the things, again, think like stepping away from the ergonomic piece, but really looking at like from a holistic health perspective. When we think about, you know, these micro and macro traumas that we're, you know, navigating through today and the stress that is tied to it, share with us a little more about like, how does that impact our health? Like what's happening, potentially happening in our bodies that we just need to be aware of? Can you share a little more about that?
I can. So you hit it out the park. Stress is something that we're all feeling. And even those who say, oh no, I'm not stressed, I'm good, more than likely you're still stressed.
Yes.
And so it's one of the primary pieces, and really the major premise as to, I have a book coming out the next month or so. And I know.
More on that in a second. I love it. Go ahead.
So, you know, it's called G.L.O.W RX, you know, and one of the things that I talk about heavily is stress. And it's got an accompanying workbook, and we look at the different strategies and how to identify your stress and what to do with it and how to change how you manage it. And because it's just needed. I mean, and that's what, this is a silent killer, you know, and we've talked about this before.
Yes.
It's silent because it creeps up on you out of nowhere.
Right.
And stress is, unfortunately, it's the precursor to almost all comorbidities and chronic diseases that are running rampant through our families, our communities, our workplace, our nation. You know, we're not the healthiest country.
Yeah.
You know, so it's more than a buzzword. It's a buzz killer in the more permanent sense of the word. And it leads to a number of different diseases. I mean, diabetes, and this is mental health, this is physical health, everything from diabetes to heart disease, stroke, cancer. But even on the mental side, when it comes to bipolar disorder and depression and anxiety, I mean, stress is at the crux of it. It's the foundation of those things.
Right.
And so there's good stress and there's bad stress, and there's a whole lot that goes into it. But the end all be all is this. So our bodies were designed for dealing with stress. And stress isn't necessarily a bad thing. You
Right.
know, have you ever heard of the fight or flight response?
Yes,
You know,
I have.
when we are stressed, then there are certain things, certain changes in our body that occur. And so, long story short, the systems that kick in are the ones that help you run faster,
Right.
oxygenate better, so
Probably
that you can
fuel
run away
adrenaline.
from the bear. Huh?
Do they fuel adrenaline production as well, or is that something
Yep.
completely different?
Yep. Fuel
Okay.
adrenaline production. Yep. So that you can run away from, you know, the proverbial bear
Right.
that's
Right.
that's scaring you, right?
Right.
And then it shuts off things like our digestive system and the systems that we really don't need when we're trying to get away from the bear.
Right.
So stress, our bodies are made to handle stress. The problem is that when it's in abundance,
Yeah.
and there's only so much the body can do, and our body was never designed to live in fight or
Live.
flight mode.
Yes.
It's
Right.
never designed to live in that mode. So when you're there for longer than you should be,
Mm-hmm.
then you start reaping the consequences, and your organs are affected, your muscles are affected. You know, people who suffer from chronic headaches are like, I don't know why I've had these headaches. I've gone to the eye doctor. I've done this. I've done that. I've done that. Like,
Yeah.
are you stressed? No. But then when you ask them questions and you go deeper, you know, they've got family stuff going on. They've got work stuff going on. You know, they've got health stuff going on. They're like, yeah, but I'm fine. I feel
Yeah.
fine.
Right.
But you don't. So one of some tips just to kind of get you started are number one, you have to identify what stress is. And then you have to identify what stress is to you.
Yes.
Because stress is different
Yeah.
for all of us. And
Right.
it's not, I'm not even talking about circumstantial, but just how our bodies interpret stress is different. How our bodies handle stress is different. So for you, Bobby, for you, it might be manifest through back pain. You know, for
Right.
someone else, it might be neck and shoulder pain. You
Right.
know, me, you know, I get headaches. You
Mm.
know, for someone else, they might, you know, it might get some upset stomach, indigestion,
Right.
you know, diarrhea, the
Yeah.
commercial, you know, you know,
Right.
so, you know, just,
Yeah.
and for somebody else, it might be all of the above. I mean,
Yeah.
but
Right.
you have to identify what your stress response is. I
Yes.
mean, if something is, you know, man, it's hard for me to breathe today. Or, I mean, even the simplest thing, but identifying your stress and what your stress response is, those are key because
Yeah.
you can't fix what you can't see.
Yeah. That's right. Look, come on, Muhammad Ali. You know.
Listen, you cannot fix what you can't see. So, you know, it's in order to fix it, you have to be able to identify it first. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you want to identify your source of stress.
Mm.
And you got to know where it's coming from. And just because it's coming from someone that you love, your pookie no doesn't
Right.
that you shouldn't do anything about it.
Yeah. 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 That's a
Yeah, so
great
you
point.
got to be specific. And then the third thing, um, when you identify your source of stress and where it's coming from,
Right.
um, you got to ask yourself three questions about how you respond to it. So, you know, you want to ask yourself, like, is this productive?
Mm.
So, however you're responding, is it productive? You want to ask yourself, is it working?
Mm.
However you're responding, is it working? Like, is it fixing it? Is it doing the trick or no?
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and then you want to ask yourself, is it healthy?
Right.
Because some people's stress response, they do things like gorge out on sweets. That's not healthy.
Creating a whole
You
nother
know,
problem.
or drink.
Right.
That's not healthy. You know,
Right.
so you know, starting with those three questions, I think kind of helps get the conversation started in your head, the
Yep.
conversation with yourself about yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, when it
It's,
comes to that.
that's awesome. I mean, that's a very simple, you know, digestible, if you will, three-way, three-step, you know, process to really take a moment and self-reflect and self-assess, really, you know, kind of your stressors and how you're responding to them right there in the moment. I
Mm-hmm.
think the part that I also would love to hear from you in that same thread is in the part that I think most people miss, self included, is the identification of stress. If you could, I don't know, as simply as you can put it, how would you define stress? I know that's a loaded question.
It is very, that is loaded.
And I would say,
Is that normal?
let me put a wrapper around it.
Okay.
Taking the medical and the health piece away from it,
Mm-hmm.
just at a pure day-to-day functional level, how would somebody know, be able to identify or determine whether something is a stressor or not?
So, in order for that to happen, I think you have to first identify peace. And the problem is most people
Ah,
they don't have a baseline of peace, so there's nothing to compare it to. So stress is their baseline.
there you go.
So it's loaded in that regard.
Yes.
Um, so you kind of have to take 3 steps forward to take 5 steps, or 3 steps back, take 5 steps forward.
Yeah.
So kind of back up and sit in and find your peace. Now, how do you find your peace? Yoga is great at that. I love yoga and meditation. And meditation is hard. It's not for the faint of heart. Like
No,
3 minutes, man.
it takes a lot. You got to like, there's a lot of mental shelving that's going on. Like, yeah,
Yes. But all it takes is 2 minutes. And actually, I know I've posted on Facebook like a 2-minute meditation audio clip.
nice.
And so, but just doing that at the very least and finding what peace feels like to you
Mm-hmm.
so that you can identify when you're not at peace.
Got you.
I would say
Got
that's
you.
the easiest way. Yeah.
I was just getting ready to say, I think through what you just described, one way that someone can, given a baseline of what peace looks like to an individual, I think one way to potentially define stress is anything that does not give you peace.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if your response to whatever you're engaged in is not a peaceful response,
Mm-hmm.
it's more than likely a stressor.
And peaceful doesn't necessarily, or non-peaceful doesn't always equate to audible anger, frustration.
Exactly.
It can just be
Yeah.
and then you have to handle it.
Yeah. That's it.
That was the stress.
That's a stressor. Exactly.
It was quiet.
Yep.
Nobody heard it but you.
Nope.
You know.
You were able to resolve it quickly, but yet and still,
Mm-hmm.
that's a stressor. That's great. That's golden. That's golden. Okay. So I think if in wrapping up, what I love to kind of talk through is, you know, again, if there are, and we may have already touched on this, so forgive me if I'm looping back in, but I want to kind of give just some practical tips, right? So for those who are working from home, you know, navigating these, you know, new and potentially stressful environments, but
Mm-hmm.
another form of that stress being, I don't want to go into a doctor's office right now. What are some natural remedies, or what are some things that, you know, we could be doing to help remedy stress, to help us to improve our ergonomic situation? I really kind of a concatenation, if you will, of the two. What are some natural remedies or quote unquote hacks that, you know, we can take advantage of at home without putting ourselves at any unnecessary risk?
All right. So first, when I was I don't know, I think I was in 6th grade. Maybe I was in 4th grade. I don't know. They all run together after a while. You know, at this age.
Right. It's like elementary school. It was one of them years.
So one of my teachers, she would always say, you got to move it, move it. And then actually I had one in while I was in chiropractic school, she would taught us orthopedics, and she
Right.
would say the same, you got to move it, move it. And so the first thing is you got to move it. So
Yeah.
that means get out and go for a walk, do some yoga, go for a run, and grab a jump rope. Do you know jump roping? Listen,
That's a workout.
listen.
I don't need to do hill sprints. Give me that jump rope.
And that's your run for the day.
That's it.
Listen,
That's
you know,
it.
grab that, increase your circulation, increase that flow of oxygen and nutrients through the body to the brain to help you think. And, just movement is key. So that's one. Nutrition is another, right? So, you avoid the sugary drinks and the snacks to eliminate those sugar highs and
Yeah.
crashes, right? Um, Oftentimes when we're home, you're home. So you
Yeah.
just
Exactly.
things, right?
And get
Um,
comfort. That's right.
You grab those things of comfort. So go with, fruits and vegetables, even if, like my husband and I, we've recently implemented doing smoothies. So we do smoothies for breakfast, and then we do a sound lunch and a sound dinner, and we meal plan it out. And it's been working flawlessly. So, but fruits and vegetables, that's going to give you your vitamins, your nutrients,
Right.
provide you with the energy you need to kind of keep your brain functioning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, especially for like the pain. So people who are experiencing some aches and pains and some joint stiffness and all that jazz, pump your diet full of anti-inflammatory foods. So you don't have to pop an Advil or a Motrin every few hours,
Right.
but eat your diet a little bit, change it, tweak it. Ginger is great.
Yes.
Ginger's amazing.
Love
Like,
ginger.
you want something that'll change your life, get like the Jamaican ginger beer from Whole Foods.
Yes. Yes.
I feel like it's burning out stuff,
Yeah.
but
Right in here. It's definitely a trachea eliminator. It's gonna take all of this.
all of this out.
Yeah. All of it.
It is wonderful. So like ginger, turmeric, sweet potato, berries, any kind of berries, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, um, and pineapples. Pineapples.
Pineapples are anti-inflammatory.
Pineapples, avocado. Yeah, man. If you like Spanish food or Mexican food,
Mm-hmm.
cumin is anti-inflammatory.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
and everything.
Yeah. Truly. Truly.
Yeah. So kicking up that anti-inflammatory diet will certainly help, especially if you have a tendency to snack on pro-inflammatory items. So and then the third thing, hydration. Drink water. You gotta drink water, man. It's essential. Yes, that. Gotta drink water. Water is essential. So you cannot survive on coffee.
No,
Right?
you cannot.
No. And for those who don't know, coffee is a diuretic, which means it makes you go to the bathroom, which means you're losing fluid, which means if you're already dehydrated, it's going to dehydrate you even more. You can't
Ooh,
survive.
let me jump in real quick.
Uh-huh.
Dehydration. I have noticed this since being at home. Dehydration is almost like what we've been talking about with inflammation, with stress. It translates into so many other things.
It does.
Oh,
It does. It does.
like dehydration, I found causes headaches.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the things that most people, especially if you have any history in athletics, cramping, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start I noticed that my allergies flare up more when I'm dehydrated, like sneezing and itchy and itchy and watery eyes, headaches. I'm sure there are other things. Feel free to add on, but those are just things that I've found that don't necessarily require me to go pop a pill. I just need to drink water.
Just drink water. Even being exhausted, like whenever I'm tired, because even, entrepreneur, I've got a baby, just it gets away from me too.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
my mom's here, she'll be like, when's the last time you had some water? I'm like, oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
So it happens for us all.
Yeah.
And you'll feel it in your joints. you'll feel, if you've ever awakened and had dry mouth,
Yes.
that's another. You'd be like, oh, I need some water.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Keep it
Yeah,
bedside.
so
I'm telling you, keep
yeah,
a good bottle bedside. Yes.
let's keep it there. So yeah, drinking water is key. It really is key, and it helps you think better. If you've ever been kind of like you're working so hard and you're cloudy, and it's taking you extra work to do something that you should be able to do in a few
Just
minutes,
knock
and you
out. Right.
can't quite get it.
Yeah.
Drink some water, and it'll come. Yeah, so that's definitely one thing you want to do. And then, of course, take mental breaks and
Yes.
meditate, like we
Yes.
talked about. But take mental breaks and meditate and clear the clutter, reset. Even if it's for 2 minutes, just do a reset and
Right.
then go into what you're doing. And it makes a world of difference.
That's awesome. I mean, so much there. So much there. I think, if I'm listening to this for the first time and any of this information is new, more than likely I'm looking for a way to get more of it. How can I get more information, more insight into what you're talking about? So, Doc, I would love for you to kind of just share with the people, how can they get in contact with you? What's the best way to set up time to or consultation, whatever the case may be? I know you got a book coming out, so tell us about that too. But what's the best way to get in contact with you from here?
So, best way to get in contact, you can always email. We'll do email. My email address, I'll say it and then you have it, Bobby.
I do have it.
Maybe.
Yep.
I don't know if there's a way you'll be able to put it on the screen.
Yeah, I can put it at the bottom. No problem.
but it's Dr. McCarty at thewellubar.com. Feel free to send me an email. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your questions. We can definitely set up a consultation. I can direct you to, excuse me, direct you to my website, which I'll also give to Bobby, so he'll have that information at the bottom of the screen. And then also doing pre-orders for my book.
Yes. Yes. Now, what's the name of the book one more time?
It's G.L.O.W RX. So think RX like
RX.
and G.L.O.W is an acronym. It's Glow and Live Optimally Well. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it talks about, it's really health from the inside out. So your mental health, physical health, emotional health, spiritual health. It hits those four. And then it has an accompanying workbook, which is also a planner and a journal.
Nice.
To kind of go with it. And it really is just about getting your life back on track.
I love it.
We all fall off sometimes.
Look, don't we all? So the pre-orders, email as well. Should they reach out to you via email to place those pre-orders?
Yes, and I'll send you the link that will go. Can I send you the link or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, I'll send you the link. Uh-oh, I paused. But I'll send you the link. Can you see me, Bobby?
I can, but the video stopped.
Yeah, it did. It's kind of weird. Okay, but nonetheless, at least it didn't stop with my mouth open.
Right. Right.
Oh man, I don't know how to read. I don't know. What do I do?
Here, hold on. What I'll do, I can pause the. All right, Dr. McCarty. So if I am listening to this or watching this and I'm intrigued by the information that you share and I want to learn more, how can I get in contact with you? What's the best way?
You can contact me through email. So
Okay.
email Dr. McCarty, DRMCCARTY at thewellubar.com.
And that's you spelled all the way out, right?
Yes.
Got you. Thewellubar.com. Got it.
WLYOUBAR.com. Yep.
Got you.
And you can also check out the website at www.thewellubar.com. And yeah, and if you're interested in placing a consultation or placing a pre-order for G.L.O.W RX, and you definitely want to get the workbook journal planner.
Yes.
Book. journal planner.
I got you.
For a second.
It might be time for some more water. I don't know.
Yes. You definitely want to get both of them, but if you're interested in placing a pre-order, go ahead and just excuse me, send me an email. Also, Bobby will place the link, I think the bottom, maybe. If he doesn't, it's okay.
We'll get you set up.
Yeah, we'll get it together, and yeah, and we will chat it up and find the best way to help you.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, Dr. McCarty, I appreciate you making some time today to help us with our posture and ergonomic needs, as well as managing our overall health in this stressful world that we live in. We need all the help we can get. So thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure.
Yes. We'll have to do this again. So don't ignore my emails.
Never.
All right. Take care. We'll talk soon.
All right. Have a good one. Be blessed. Be safe.
All right.